Get out and never come back. The words echoed through our once peaceful suburban home, my father's voice thundering with a rage I'd never heard before. I stood frozen in our living room, still clutching my acceptance letter to MIT's computer science program. My mother sat on the couch, her face buried in her hands, while my older brother Marcus leaned against the doorframe with a smug smile. This was the moment my family chose status over love, tradition over dreams. "Dad, please," I pleaded, my voice barely a whisper. "This is a full scholarship. I wouldn't need any money from you." "Enough, Oliver." He slammed his fist on the coffee table, making the family photos rattle. Those same photos that showed us smiling, pretending to be the perfect family. "The Morrison name has been in law for 4 generations. Your grandfather built this firm from nothing. Your brother understands his duty, but you?" I glanced at Marcus in his perfectly pressed suit, recently made junior partner at Morrison & Sons law firm at just 26. The golden child who followed the predetermined path. "I want to create something of my own," I said, straightening my back. "Technology is the future, if you just listen." "Technology?" my father sneered. "Playing with computers? That's your grand ambition. While your brother handles million-dollar cases, you want to be some code monkey?" My mother finally looked up, her mascara smeared. "Oliver, please, just go to law school. We'd already have a place reserved for you at Yale. Think about the family name." The family name. Always the family name, never about what I wanted, what I dreamed of. "I'm going to MIT, I stated firmly. I got in on my own merit, not because of our name." My father's face turned an alarming shade of red. "Then you'll do it without our support. No money, no car, no trust fund. Nothing." "You can't be serious," I whispered, though I knew he was. James Morrison never made idle threats. "Choose now, Oliver. Law school and your family, or this foolish dream and nothing." I looked around the room one last time. At my father's unyielding expression, my mother's tears, Marcus's satisfied smirk. This house had never felt like home, not really. It was a gilded cage where dreams went to die. "Goodbye then," I said quietly, turning toward the door. "If you walk out that door," my father called after me, "don't ever come back." I didn't look back. That night, I sat in my best friend Tom's garage, everything I owned stuffed into 2 duffel bags. Tom's parents had always been kind to me, and they didn't hesitate to offer their spare room when I called. "You can stay as long as you need," Tom said, handing me a cold soda. "But what's the plan?" I pulled out my laptop, the one I bought with money from my summer coding jobs. "Remember that app we've been working on? The one for small business inventory management?" Tom nodded. We'd spent countless nights coding it, improving it, dreaming about what it could become. "Well, I think it's time we finished it. Make it real." Tom's eyes lit up. "You serious? But we need money for servers, marketing." I opened my savings account on my phone. $12,347. Every dollar I'd earned and saved over the past 2 years, hidden from my parents. "It's not much," I admitted, "but it's a start." The next few months were a blur of coding, cheap ramen noodles, and endless cups of coffee. I took classes during the day, worked on our app at night, and picked up freelance coding jobs whenever I could. Tom's parents let me stay in their garage, which we converted into a makeshift office. Our app, which we named Stockwise, launched with little fanfare. But slowly, through word of mouth and some clever social media marketing, small businesses started signing up. 1 user became 10, 10 became 100. By the end of my freshman year, we had enough paying customers to rent a small office space. Tom dropped out to work on Stockwise full-time while I continued my studies, barely sleeping but driven by a vision only I could see. Then came the turning point. A major retail chain discovered our app and wanted to implement it across their stores. The meeting was set for a Wednesday afternoon, and I sat across from their executives in my only suit, bought secondhand for $50. "Your software is impressive," their CTO said, studying me carefully. "But you're very young. How do we know your company will be around in a year?" I met his gaze steadily, because this isn't just a company to me. This is my life. I have no backup plan, no safety net. I will make this work because I have to. Something in my voice must have convinced him. They signed a contract worth $500,000. More money than I'd ever seen in my life. That night, as Tom and I celebrated with pizza in our tiny office, my phone buzzed. It was Marcus. "Hello, little brother," his voice dripped with condescension. "Heard through the grapevine that you landed a decent contract. Ready to admit your mistake and come home?" I ended the call without responding. 3 years passed in a whirlwind of growth. Stockwise expanded beyond inventory management into full business operations software. We hired developers, opened offices in 3 cities, and watched our user base explode. I lived in a small apartment despite our success, pouring every spare dollar back into the company. My only splurge was a decent laptop and a coffee machine that didn't leak. Then came the email that changed everything. Tech Weekly, the industry's leading magazine, wanted to feature Stockwise in their cover story. 30 under 30, the future of business technology. The morning the magazine hit the stands, I was in my office reviewing acquisition offers from several major tech companies. Our valuation had just hit $40 million, and rumors of an IPO were swirling. My phone rang. Unknown number. "Oliver?" My mother's voice, tentative and strange. We just saw the magazine. Your father and we've been thinking." I cut her off. "I have a meeting in 5 minutes. Please, Oliver. We're still family." I looked at the framed MIT diploma on my wall, remembered the nights I studied while working 2 jobs, the meals I skipped to pay for textbooks. "Are we?" I asked quietly. "I have to go." I hung up, but I knew this wasn't over. The family that had thrown me out at 18 was about to discover exactly what I built from nothing. And I was ready for them. The calls didn't stop. After the Tech Weekly article, my phone buzzed constantly with messages from relatives I hadn't heard from in years. Second cousins who suddenly remembered my existence, aunts who ignored me at family gatherings, even my mother's bridge club friends reached out to reconnect. I ignored them all. But Marcus was more persistent. He showed up at my office one morning, striding past my assistant like he owned the place. 7 years hadn't changed him much. Same expensive suit, same arrogant smile. "Little brother," he announced, dropping into the chair across from my desk. "We need to talk." I continued typing on my laptop, not bothering to look up. "How did you get past security?" "I'm a Morrison. Doors open for us," he chuckled, then frowned when I didn't respond. "Come on, Oliver. This grudge has gone on long enough. Mom cries about you every holiday." Finally, I met his gaze. "Funny, I don't remember her crying when I was sleeping in a garage." "That was different. You were being stubborn." He leaned forward, lowering his voice. "But look at you now. 40 million, Oliver. That's impressive. Dad's even talking about adding your name back to the Christmas card list." How generous of him. Marcus sighed, his facade of friendliness cracking slightly. "Here's the thing. The firm is expanding into tech law. Your company, your connections, they could be valuable. We're having a family dinner on Sunday. Come home. Let's put this unfortunate business behind us." I closed my laptop slowly. Unfortunate business? Is that what you call throwing your 18-year-old brother out with nothing? Don't be dramatic. You chose to leave. No, Marcus. I chose to follow my dreams instead of fitting into Dad's perfect plan. There's a difference. I stood up, straightening my jacket. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a meeting." "Don't be like this," he called after me. "We're family." I paused at the door. "Family? Let me tell you about family, Marcus. Tom's parents who gave me a place to stay when I had nothing. That's family. My first employees who worked for equity when I couldn't afford salaries. That's family. You're just people I share DNA with." The next day, my father tried a different approach. His secretary called to schedule a lunch meeting. "Mr. Morrison would like to discuss a potential collaboration," she said primly. I agreed, choosing an upscale restaurant I knew he'd appreciate. Let him see what his rejected son could afford now. He arrived precisely on time, looking older than I remembered. 7 years had added gray to his temples and lines around his eyes. But his posture was still military straight. "Oliver," he nodded, sitting down. "You look successful." "Amazing what playing with computers can accomplish," I replied, watching him wince at his own words thrown back at him. About that, he cleared his throat. "I may have been hasty in my judgment. Technology is clearly the future, and Morrison & Sons needs to adapt. And you want Stockwise to help you adapt?" He smiled, probably thinking he'd hooked me. "Think about it. The Morrison name and tech law, backed by cutting-edge software. We could dominate the market. Your brother's already working on the partnership agreement. Of course he is. I sipped my water. Tell me, Dad, did you read the whole article about me? He blinked, caught off guard. I skimmed it. There was an interesting quote. Want to hear it? I pulled out my phone and read. When asked about his incredible success, Morrison credits his drive to early hardship. After being cut off by his wealthy family at 18, he built Stockwise from nothing, working multiple jobs while attending MIT on scholarship. The color drained from his face. Oliver, that's ancient history. The article went viral, Dad. Everyone in the tech world knows how the mighty Morrisons threw out their son for daring to chase his dreams. Makes for a compelling story, doesn't it? The self-made success versus the old money law firm. What do you want? He demanded, his mask of civility cracking. Money? Public apology. I laughed, and for the first time in 7 years, I felt truly free. I want nothing from you. That's what you never understood. I didn't need your money or your name. I just needed you to believe in me. And now? Now? I stood up, dropping my napkin on the table. Now I have a company to run. Enjoy your lunch, Dad. I hear they make an excellent humble pie. But they weren't done yet. That Sunday, my mother tried her approach. She waited outside my apartment building, knowing I couldn't avoid her there. Oliver, please, she called out as I walked past. Just talk to me. I stopped, taking in her designer outfit, the expensive car waiting at the curb. What's there to talk about, Mom? I'm sorry, she whispered. We were wrong. So wrong. But we're still your parents. Don't you miss us at all? For a moment, I remembered being small, feeling safe in her arms. But that memory was overshadowed by the image of her sitting silently while Dad threw me out. I missed you every night I went hungry saving money for textbooks, I said quietly. I missed you when I graduated MIT, looking out at an audience full of proud parents while my seats were empty. I missed you when I landed my first major contract and had no one to celebrate with except my friend's family. Tears streamed down her face. We can make it right. Come to dinner on Sunday. Everyone will be there. We'll be a family again. I stepped around her, heading toward my building. I have a family, Mom. I built it myself, just like I built everything else in my life. People who believe in me, support me, celebrate my successes without trying to take credit for them. Oliver, please. Goodbye, Mom. Tell Dad his tech law division will have to succeed without Stockwise. And tell Marcus, I smiled slightly. Tell him doors don't always open just because your name is Morrison. That night, I sat in my office, looking out over the city lights. Tom came in, carrying 2 beers. Rough week, he asked, handing me one. My family suddenly remembered I exist, I said, taking a long drink. Now that I'm worth something. Tom nodded thoughtfully. You know, my parents still ask about you. Dad's making his famous barbecue this weekend. I smiled, remembering countless dinners at their house. The way they'd celebrated every small victory with me, treated my dreams as valuable instead of foolish. Tell them I'll be there, I said. That's what real family does, right? Shows up when it matters. Tom raised his bottle. To family, the ones we choose. I clinked my bottle against his, to choices that make us stronger. The next morning, I walked into a board meeting to discuss our upcoming IPO. My phone buzzed with another message from Marcus. Don't be stubborn. Family is forever. I turned off my phone, smiling as I took my seat at the head of the table. He was wrong. Family isn't forever, not the kind that only loves you when you're valuable to them. Real family, the kind you build yourself, loves you even when you're sleeping in their garage, dreaming impossible dreams. And I had built something better than the Morrison name. I had built my own legacy.